I'm James Cantor of Green Inc., and I'm in the capital city of the European Union, Brussels, to speak with Helge Lund, the chief executive of Norwegian oil and gas company Statoil Hydro. Statoil Hydro is one of the companies that says it is leading efforts to exploit the Arctic and to produce fossil fuels in the most environmentally sustainable ways possible. Drilling offshore has become a pivotal part of the debate in the U.S. presidential election campaign this year. But perhaps there is nowhere that this question, to drill or not to drill, has become more relevant to the rest of the world than in the Arctic region. Soaring energy prices have made Arctic exploration and production of oil and gas more feasible. So has the dramatic retreat of Arctic ice cover in recent years. That in turn is triggering a race to exploit the Arctic's potentially massive hydrocarbon resources. And so I asked Helge Lund, is what we're seeing in the Arctic one of the positive aspects of climate change for the global economy?
There is a clear pattern in our view that most of the so-called easy barrels either have been taken and developed or are not accessible to international oil and gas companies. So the remaining resources to be developed is typically much more complicated from a technological point of view and also from a cost perspective than the fields and the opportunities that we have worked with in the past.
Is what we're seeing in the Arctic perhaps going to have positive repercussions for the global economy?
Well, as a first sort of reflection, I think it's very hard to position the climate change as a good thing, and we need to do everything we can in order to counter the effects of climate change. But at the same time, and as we discussed previously, the world needs more energy, so we have to continue to explore and find new hydrocarbon resources and then concentrate on bringing these to the markets in the most CO2 efficient way. We clearly see that the industry now is maturing project with a much higher break-even level than we saw only a few years back, and that is simply necessary in order to provide enough energy to the market.
How does the receding of the ice change things for engineers when they are doing exploration and production? And is that changing the way that your engineers go about their business?
Well, so far we have not been able to do offshore exploration and development in offshore areas where there are ice, and when you have to deal with, for instance, icebergs, you have to look at different project development solutions. So a project will need to have different engineering solutions, different concepts when you're working in these harsh environments than you would have in other offshore areas of the world.
And these harsh environments are becoming somewhat less harsh.
Yeah, you can say that, but still these are extremely tough areas, and it's not only the climate as such, but also the distances to shore, lack of industrial infrastructure, and so on and so forth. So these projects are extremely complicated, and I guess mother of all projects could be a way of sort of terming these kind of projects.
Mr. Lund, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the New York Times and the International Herald Tribune, this is James Cantor of Green Inc.